Greetings, hi, TheWarOwl greets you, and welcome to Matchmaking Academy, where you are the star for all the wrong reasons. WarOwl sighting! WarOwl sighting! But don't worry, we're gonna figure out what those reasons are and help you improve at Counter-Strike Global Offensive. Our hero today is I'm No Longer Peter. He is a Gold Nova 1 player. Dots here. Joke's over, guys. We're just gonna do it normally this time. And he had some very specific questions we're gonna go over. Keep in mind, don't berate the players for sending in the demos or anything. What? What was that? Okay, his question on this round says, how to quickly rush ramp. We're gonna, that made no sense. Let's examine that a little bit closer. I've solved the riddle. Pay very close attention here. I'm No Longer Peter does a perfect shot with the AWP. Let's figure out why he died. What the heck? Here it is, guys. We see I'm No Longer Peter running in here to pick this guy. He throws down a nice shot. He clearly hits the enemy. Here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go. Reg! He totally hit the guy! So, 64 ticks, guys. 64 ticks are definitely enough. So clearly there were some problems with either the server itself or the game, or even that the demo showed when he hit when he shouldn't have. I think what we saw there is the player flicked to the guy, clicked and shot him, and in the demo it registers as a hit, as a server side hit. So it should have killed the guy. But what we saw is that the player was swiping a little bit, and it looked like he may have clicked a little bit before he had swiped completely. However, I think in that instance, we have to chalk that up to a bad server or a difference in how they calculate client and server side hit detection. That sort of craziness. So I'm gonna say that that wasn't your fault. The other guy also did a ridiculously good shot on you at the same time. So let's talk about how to take ramp. Well, number one, you shouldn't just full-on charge into ramp. Easy answer why you shouldn't do that. As the CTs are starting out, one of the first things they should do to prevent a ramp push is just to throw a smoke down there. And you should not push through that smoke. That's gonna be a complete slaughter. What'll happen is as you're coming through the other side of it right here, you can't really see much, but they can see you inside of that smoke right there. It'll be really easy to pick you off. A rotate player right here and then a player playing on side of the ramp right here could do a lot of damage. Now, ramp is a very difficult position to take, and it doesn't give you a bomb site. All it gives you is a positional advantage. There's two main positional advantage on nuke, one outside, one ramp. By getting ramp, you have access to take upstairs to go A. You also have access to go B, as these signs will tell you. So it's a good position to have, and it's worth, on the terrorist side, trading into it. And by trading into it, I mean getting a kill and losing a player, but then you get this position. I think that that is a positive. So let's talk about some of the throws you can do. You know, it's kind of difficult to do throws in this spot. I would not recommend just full out rushing into ramp. You need a player who's really good at picking, so that the player ramp, you're just gonna end up in a firefight against him. Now we saw this all players, he pushed out, he pushed all the way out right here. I think that's a bad thing. You wanna just expose yourself to one position at a time. So the first is the player who's playing on top of the ramp right here, right? The next is gonna be the headshot box right here. The next is gonna be the other side of the headshot box. Then you can move through like this, come a little closer. You know there's nobody there at this point. Next spot is gonna be right up on top of this box, where a player can be standing on top of the railing, peeking over it. The next spot is right there. Next spot is right there. Then you're gonna have a player right around the corner here sometimes. It's a sneaky spot. You may see people do that sort of a thing on eco. The most common spot is going to be, or at least it should be, on this ramp, because a player can pick, and if something bad happens, instead of dying, they give ramp control, but they're able to get away and survive and go downstairs. So that's the best place to play ramp, is right here on the ramp, in my opinion. Now I say it's difficult to take because let's say you throw your smoke. Let's say you do your smoke perfectly, and let's look at a smoke. So if I want to smoke this off, what I want to do is land it right here so that it blocks out all of these positions. I only have to worry about these spots. How I would do that, and in a way that I can still peek it, is first jump by. I get by, I can sort of see as I'm jumping by where they are. And if they are there, if I do see them, then I'm going to throw this smoke. So I set up so I'm not standing on this thing, somewhere around here. Aim at the middle of this door at the top area and just do a running sort of throw. And it'll bounce right out, right there. It'll block off this whole section. It'll block off top of the box. It'll block off all the way out. You may have to look right here, here, and here. Sometimes the player can stand here, but it's not a good idea. I say it's dangerous because player ramp can now just line up and go ba 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 ba. You can also throw a nade through it. You can also throw a Molotov. And all he has to do is just empty his whole mag, know that they're coming, rotate downstairs. He survives. He has intel about how many players you have there. He has a chance to pick a few of you. It's just a dangerous push. And I think just having a player who's really good at picking is kind of the best way to push in here. And when you're picking, it's also a good idea to have a player behind him so that if the picker goes down, the next player can move out and take the kill. That way you trade into the position. You don't lose a player for nothing. This guy, I'm No Longer Peter, sent in a really good write-up, a really good set of questions that I would like to answer, a ton of them. Very nicely written up. That's why I picked his demo. But since we're focusing on the ramp side of things, let's just watch another time where he goes ramp. This is an eco round. I'm not sure what the terrorists are doing right now. Let's just look at it. Look at this. They all run into lobby and sort of screw around. This is really stupid. And look at this. At this point, if one of them pushed hut right now, these two guys would be so dead because there's nobody watching hut. This is like the sloppiest lobby positioning I've ever seen. What are they even doing on those things? CTs could kill them really easily, and at the same time, let's look at our mini-map as this is going on. We actually have a player creeping around outside. So they could have maybe put a player outside to watch and wait for that guy just to have intel if someone's pushing them. Or since it's an eco round like this, which if you look at their money, it would have made sense for them to buy on this round. They've got a ton of money. I don't know why they ecoed. They should have bought, basically. So a lot of things are wrong with the decision-making of this team. They could have tried to do some kind of an eco strat, like go down the vents, just something really simple, push into a site. But let's just watch I'm No Longer Peter and just look at his crosshair and his positioning and all that sort of stuff. His crosshair placement, his positioning, it's really off as he tries to push here at ramp. So let's actually slow this down a little bit. We'll put it at a 4th speed as we go in here so we can talk while this is going on. So he creeps by as the smoke clears. He's in a really good position to catch this guy off guard. Now as he moves across, he's not scanning positions. Look where his crosshair is. It's on the box. There's nobody there. There's nobody possible to be there. He sees the player, but he doesn't actually seem to react to it. If he was swiping across, he may have had a chance to take that player down. Instead, he seems to fully ignore him. Now, at this point, his crosshair is in a really terrible position, and he sits here the entire time. There could be a player to his right around that corner. There could be a player right here who peeks him. A player around the box. This player over here could have pushed up close and come right around the corner. His crosshair is not in a position to deal with any of these players, and he really should be dead because a rotate player, as soon as this player called a player sneaked by, should have peeked right here. So he should be dead at this point. He stays here for such a long time just looking at this weird spot. And nobody can be here. This is where the head is, right here. If a player moves, or right here. I don't know why he has his crosshair here. It really cannot help him at all. And we'll see what happens a little bit as we get closer to the engagement. I'll speed it up a little bit because he does stand here for a long time. He moves out. Look at his crosshair positioning. Again, nowhere near the enemy. Looking right at that box. It's really strange. Now at the ground, over here. Now he's engaging. He was looking like he was over at the box. As you have to like swipe across. Don't look at where you're eventually going to look. Look around the corner where the enemy could be. He thinks he's at the box still. He doesn't even check as he moves around this corner. He's standing way too close to the box. If you've seen my tutorial on angles, you should know that where he's standing right now is a terrible position. So now finally turns to shoot. Shoots a little bit, and I think he could have had success with those shots if he had pulled the crosshair down a little bit. He already shot a few times. He knows that his inaccuracy is going to kick in, so the gun's going to start shooting up. You have to pull down a little bit. Shoot when you're changing directions, or just get away. Just a really bad engagement. I don't mean to constantly berate this player. These are all things that he can improve on. Just work on his aim and his positions, his angles, and that sort of thing. And since he's a really new player at Gold Nova 1, that's the kind of stuff you really need to work on, is the basics of the game and a basic understanding of how the game works. I would say don't even think about trying to do strategies and that sort of stuff at this level. Just focus on actually learning how to play Counter-Strike first. By the way, for those wondering where the Owl Vision has gone, it has gone after the little end close title card thingy that pops up unexpected. Thanks for sending in the demo, sir, and all that fanciness. Let's get an owl vision. I'm the WarOwl, and I still have no closer.